attacking it. So Terran is going to be able to get his expansion up a lot quicker. So if we switch to the income tab, we do have 1,400 minerals per minute for the Zerg, with only 1,200 minerals for the Terran. We don't really see all that many mules being thrown down. He could afford to throw down a mule now, but he is probably just saving it for a scan since he is pushing across the map right now. So the Hellions are running out in front. You kind of want to keep it with the rest of the army, especially since you're on creep. Zerg can rush in really quickly and get behind the Hellions and basically attack the main army. I don't know if this is on purpose, but this is actually pretty good basically unit position by Brockemon. He did have the siege tanks surrounding the marines, so it is going to take a lot more banelings to take down the siege tanks in order to get to the buy units, which get torn to shreds by banelings. Could have been a fluke, but never know. Now Brockemon does get his third up. He isn't saturating it just yet. He is throwing a couple of turrets just to be safe, because OneHand does have a couple mutas on the field, getting an in-base hatchery. With Zerg's unit composition, I understand that he can't really defend his units all that well, but if he decided to scout the Terran a bit, he'd know that he is also deciding to get his third up, so he isn't going to really be expecting much aggression from the Terran for some time, so he probably could try to take a small risk and go for that third rather than getting that in-base hatch, but I guess he didn't really feel too safe doing so. The Terran is getting level 1 vehicle weapons up. He is also getting a Thor out to deal with these mutas. He is also getting a planetary fortress at his somewhere. Get his planetary fortress at the third. I completely missed that. Now this Terran this Hellion is still alive, so you can actually feel free to run down. Okay, maybe he can't run down. So yeah, that's just going to be hangout for scouting purposes. Crucius dropping the ball. Now we do see OneHand going for his third finally. He is actually pretty behind at the moment. The Terran does have 3 Thors out, a significant number of siege tanks, Hellions and Marines. So if we look at the unit composition, Zerg only has 32 Zerglings, 8 mutas and 11 banelings. That is not going to be enough to deal with this army. He could get lucky again like last time and basically wipe the entire army out with his banelings, but with only a handful of banelings, 16 banelings in production, 8 actually on the field, so that's going to be 24 if my maths doesn't fail me. It could take a couple of siege tanks, could maybe take up Thors, but other than that, if he doesn't manage to get good banelings shots off, he isn't going to be able to do all that much. The siege tanks do siege up, so they are going to be doing quite a bit of damage to any units that do run in. This includes the banelings, which is really important. Siege tanks that are sieged up are basically the counter to the banelings. They're going to snipe them off pretty quickly, unless they are on the creep and do have speed upgrades, but with this many siege tanks, he is going to be able to take them out very quickly. Now it is just bunny hopping into the Zerg's base, so the Zerg is actually in quite a bit of trouble right now. Brockemon is keeping up on his reinforcements, getting more Thors, getting more Marines, getting more siege tanks. Zerg is getting level 1 Carapace upgrade. That is actually kind of late. I'd expect that to be up slightly earlier in the game, but because the Terran did apply quite a bit of pressure, that was delayed quite a bit. Now the Terran does spot the third, so he is probably going to try to snipe that out since he knows that really isn't saturated at the moment. And he OneHand did pull all the drones out of the natural expansion and transferring it to the main. Now we do see another Nidus network actually coming up. Most of these banelings do take out the remaining SCVs. He does force the command center to lift off, and that actually is forcing the Terran to return back to his base. He doesn't have anything in there at the moment to defend. He does have 1 Thor that just popped out, and if it actually 2 Thors that just popped out. Now we could deal with these roaches pretty easily, but obviously his attention was elsewhere, and he really needs to take out this Nidus network really quick before he does manage to defend. Now this 1 Hero Thor is taking on all these roaches, but that is going to get taken out pretty easily. Now Brockemon is supply blocked at the moment, 83 supply out of 183 supply out of 180. So that is going to delay him slightly, but since Zerg is only sitting on 99 supply at the moment, that isn't going to really cause him too much trouble. Now in the meantime, OneHand did manage to get a significant number of roaches up. He did manage to get a significant number of banelings up, so he is going to be able to defend any aggression that comes out at the moment. But the Terran has actually massed up an even scarier force. He is also choosing to get his 4th base up, so the Terran is actually only sitting on 3 bases. his natural isn't really mining all that efficiently. His third isn't mining all that efficiently, so Zerg is going to be really behind on income. Now the push from the Terran is coming out. The Hellions are around the front. That they are going to soak up quite a bit of the Roach damage, while the Siege Tanks do have a chance to siege up. Now again, the Terran is keeping all his units clumped together. He really needs to split them up ASAP, since he does know Banelings are on the field. Now these units right here are actually pretty vulnerable to a Baneling rush right now, but the Siege Tanks do have that covered. He does have slight weakness at his ram, so he could probably shift a couple Siege Tanks forward to help deal with that. Now the hatchery at the natural does fall. He can choose to go for the third, which he is doing pretty well with some Hellions, but they're not going to do all that much damage. Now he is pushing up with the Thors. These Overlords are actually going to take quite a bit of damage. OneHand is rushing a couple of Banelings into the Thors, but they aren't really going to do all that much damage. One Hero Queen was about to attack, but pulled it back just in time. Now the Roaches and Banelings do move in. The Roaches are trying to slime out as many Thors as they can. Banelings try to clear the way, but not really doing that much of an effective job this time around. The Roaches do get taken out pretty quickly from the Siege Tank shelves, and that's basically Zerg's entire army wiped out. OneHand does GG out of this game. This game was kind of more of an economic loss rather than a mechanics loss. The Terran did apply some pretty effective pressure from the start, and while he did so, he did expand. He got his economy up pretty quickly, and basically overwhelmed the Zerg purely with an economic advantage. As we do see near the end of that, at the moment the Terran pushed, Zerg was sitting on around 100 or so supply. At that point, Terran was maxed, so it was a 200 mech army versus a 100 tier 1.5 Zerg army. That is never a position you want to be in, so yeah. So the score is 2-1 at the moment in Brockemon's favour. At this current pattern, maybe OneHand may be able to take the fourth match, even up once again, since it has gone in alternating favours at the moment, but OneHand does need to win the next match to stay in this set of matches to take it to an ace match. That is a lot of matches in the one sentence. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be right back with game 4, and hopefully OneHand can take up the next map so we can have yet another game between these two excellent players. This has been Crucius for Into StarCraft and you Sid and you South Starsock, and I'll be right back.